Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I am Abe with MysticGenmara.com, a small town mystic from the middle of Idaho, and tonight I would like to offer the elemental energy reading for the month of April 2024 for the water energy. That covers Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. If you are interested in why I read the elements versus the zodiac, you can check out the videos linked in the description down below. And if you have water high up in your birth charts, if you have water high up in your energies, if you've ever had those read, then these messages are for you. I read intuitively, so we'll start by reading the verses or texts from the cards or from the book, and then we will see what the divine brings in as well. So to start things off, we are going to do our I-ching reading, and I cast the hexagram before the video. So for water, we have hexagram 30, and it is the Flaming Beauty. The text: Flaming Beauty, righteous persistence brings reward, success, rearing cows is good fortune. So this month ahead for water is looking very, very prosperous. The Flaming Beauty, in other words, the passion and the beauty within you, what we call spiritual beauty, is going to be radiating out. But you also have the dedication. It's keeping going with what you've been starting on. All of the things that you've been working on for the last several months, they're saying this is a time when you're going to start seeing some rewards over that. It's not going to be a short-term thing because of, rearing cows takes a long time. That's what part of that. But cows are also a symbol of good luck in this reference. So definitely feeling lucky this month, water. So our foundational line here is: approach with reverent steps, he pays them his respects, no error. You definitely want to make sure that you are being honorable and upstanding with your actions this month. The foundational energies of this month are of honor, reverence, and being respectful. If you're doing those, everything's going to be really well. If you start getting a little bit disrespectful, doing things that are a little bit shady, that's when your errors are going to start to occur. But really, you're walking it clean, A, because it's easier to stay truthful than to repeat a lie, and B, other people are going to notice that, and that is going to help support your success this month. So our second line is: yellow sunlight, sublime good fortune. Yellow sunlight is the gentle sun. It's that warming sun. It's that beautiful, you're doing the right thing. One of the references in the book here talks about the middle path, meaning you're staying in balance. You're working in a way that is gentle, that is subtle, but it's very supportive and growth oriented. And walking the middle path means you're not veering to the hard extremes in either way, because you know that the path of least resistance is actually down the middle. So your third place line: in the light of the setting sun, young men do not beat upon the cooking pots or sing. The old men sigh piteously, misfortune. Even if something looks like it's ending, and it may this month, you never know, that does not mean that you have to make noise and carry on and make a big scene about it. It also is advising not to become, that's weird, not to become the drunkard, not to be someone who's so addicted to their vices that they can't actually function without that. Because the old men sigh piteously. They're watching the young men beating pots, singing, carrying on, because it's in the evening and they think all their work is done, not realizing they have to get up tomorrow and do it again. So that's where you're getting this, it's not the best option to be always like that. Once in a while, fine. But what they're saying is, in the light of the setting sun, which is sunsets every day, the young men do not beat upon their cooking pots or sing, and the old men sigh. Sometimes you can, but it's not necessary all the time, and that's what they're saying is, really, if you're working towards big goals, you have dreams, ambitions, hopes, keep that stuff for a once-a-week thing so that it's not interfering with your life. So our fourth place line: how sudden it's coming, Then, with flame-like swiftness, it is dead and cast away. So the commentary on this is actually kind of funny. Its coming was sudden and there was no place for it, is what the translator of the books says. Basically, you have a lot of stuff starting to come in, but if you're constantly doing other things, you're not making space, you're not clearing the path ahead for what's coming in, you're going to be stuck. Because you're just going to be standing at the door kind of, like, hello, I'm here, what are you going to do? And your house is full of all the other baggage that you didn't need anymore. So part of what's coming up this month is doing a little bit of physical house cleaning, but also do some mental and emotional house cleaning, habits, patterns, emotional baggage, regrets, all of that stuff, process through it. They're also saying anything that you need to forgive for yourself or for others, those kind of things take up a lot of space emotionally. When you work forgiveness, you clear them out. So working on that this month is a good call. For our 5th place line, his tears streamed forth as though to extinguish his piteous sighs good fortune. This is that call to be forgiving, to accept forgiveness and to give forgiveness. And they're really wanting to emphasize, for some reason, the forgiveness of self. Yes, you've made mistakes. I've made mistakes. Everyone you know has made mistakes. The difference is carrying regret because of a mistake that you made, or holding anger or self-hatred is never beneficial. And that's when you start to release that, it can trigger very emotional responses, including crying. And that's because you're letting go of the stuff that's no longer serving. You're letting go of the things that were literally hurting you. So that's what they're saying for this 5th line. The capstone here, the king went forth to set things to rights, and blessed by heaven with victory, he destroyed the leader of the rebels, but he did not chastise the rebel followers. No error. Just because you've made mistakes does not mean that you're a bad person. Just because you've maybe not done the greatest things in the past doesn't mean you can't be more honorable in the future. The king sets forth. In this aspect, they're saying that this is the representative of the divine. The divine stepping forward, taking care of all the major BS. They're not condemning people, they're taking out the problem. And that's what they're inspiring or calling you to do, is don't be so hard on yourself that you actually become your own stumbling block. You have a lot of success coming in this month. You have a lot of opportunities. You have a lot of the greatest things you could have type of energy. The hiccup is only going to be in how you respond to yourself and to others. They're really saying take the lessons from the past, release the energy and the emotions attached. Heal yourself, work through the forgiveness models. And again, you don't have to go to the person to ask forgiveness, especially if it's a toxic or dangerous situation, but you can in your own life work through that forgiveness, because you're forgiving them and actually is helping you. It releases your a cord to them, so they can no longer feed off of your energy. So that forgiveness is very, very powerful, and that's what they're saying this month, is you have a lot of benefits, you have a lot of glory is the other word they keep using. So it's really good to make space for all of the blessings that are coming in, and the best way to do it is to start with forgiveness. So let's hop into our tarot and oracle cards. There are approximately 5 weeks in April. It's 4.5. We'll go with 5. So we'll do 5 weekly readings. I read a guide and or guardian, which is they guide you through the week or guard you from some challenges that may be coming up. A message from source, positive reassurance that things are, or some information that you may need. And then you also have the lesson or challenge from the tarot, which is either a lesson to work on that week or a challenge of something coming in that you may be unaware of at the moment. So, and if you're interested in any of the decks or books that I'm using, they are linked in the description down below. Your first guide or guardian is Goddess Rhiannon and Amazonite. Integrity, I listen deeply. For the truth of my heart, I create harmony between my intentions, my words, and actions. I make promises that honor my soul. Based on wisdom of my heart, I make decisions with courage and boldness. I act with respect for spiritual wisdom. I recognize the power within. which I surrender into inspired service for the greater good. I have the strength of character I need to live with integrity and my own heart. I emanate peace and grace. A friend of mine taught me this, and this is kind of how I look at this as well. Integrity is doing the right thing when no one else is watching. And so you're starting this month off with the first week saying, be very upfront with what you want and what you're saying. If you agree to do something, you're going to do it. If you put your energy towards something, don't back out halfway through because, oh, well, integrity is following through. Your yes is yes, your no is no. If you're not sure something that you can actually accomplish or it's not something you can actually do, then state that up front. I plan on doing this as long as there's nothing else. My life's a little chaotic right now or whatever. I will do my best to achieve this. If something comes up, I will let you know. But be upfront with people. Don't say, oh yeah, no, totally, I got this. And then 2 weeks later, you don't got this anymore. So being honest and upfront is walking the honorable path, so to speak. So let's see what our message from Source, what Source has to say for water. And we have, the rainbow's been popping up a lot. So we're working with the energy of relief, new beginnings, and a new way forward. Water, without you, a rainbow couldn't exist. The other elements are important as well, but water's the key focus. With this aspect, the rainbow is the promise of integrity. It's a promise of divine support, divine guidance, and it's also the revealing of God's love for people, God and Source Divine love for people. And in this aspect, they're really wanting to say that this is showing that God's love and direction has been with you for the entirety of your life, but it's also helping guide you forward. Understanding that, accepting with gratitude His grace, their grace, and support going forward is how to live in integrity with the guidance from the divine. Being, just completely lost the word. Living with integrity becomes so easy that you don't even have to think about it. It is such a second nature thing at that point. So really work with that divine connection. The rainbow is connecting you to God's Source Divine. So work on building that connection. God's reaching out, Source is reaching out saying, hey, let's do this together. You have a lot of gifts, talents, and abilities. Let's see where we can go with all of this. And the only request made of you is accept that. So your lesson or challenge from the tarot is the number 8, Major Arcana. So this is, even though it's for the first week, I've been finding the Major Arcanas are following through the whole month. So something to think about. We have number 8, Justice. It's Archangel Ragael. Fair and just decisions. Do what you know is right, standing up for your beliefs. When you walk with integrity, it is actually pretty easy to stand up for yourself. Even if you're not the strongest of person, like your personality is just not what you would say is dominant, that's fine. You don't have to be dominant. You don't have to put your foot down and stomp on their head. Justice is saying, do the right thing for the right reason. Standing up for your beliefs is when someone's like, oh, well, I think you should be doing it this way because that way just doesn't work. But you know in your heart doing it that other way is going to lead to some shady outcome. You can simply say, no, thank you, or thanks for the suggestion. Doesn't mean you have to take it. But that's what they're saying is this is just a time for you to remember it's all right to say no, and it's also all right to accept the suggestion, but continue forward on the path that you know is right. So, your second week's guide or guardian is Goddess Matangi, and Heliotrope is your stone. Already there is value. I acknowledge how far I have come and the immense inner value derived from my journey thus far. I choose to complete the tasks that resonate with my heart, seeing them through until they are shining with divine brilliance and beauty. I recognize the value of my past efforts and experiences. I balance passionate, purposeful devotion with my destiny, with contentment and gratitude for all that is in this moment. So with the Goddess Matangi and Heliotrope, this is just basically saying you already know the right thing to do. You already know where your success lies, and you're actually seeing some fruits of your labor in this moment. what I'm getting is, for this coming month, sticking to sticking to your guns, sticking to your path, sticking to your focus is the best option going forward. Allow other people's opinions to be heard, and then if it's not something that serves you, let it flow out with the tide. It's no longer necessary to tote all of that around. And in most cases, people will give you their opinion, and then they will forget that they even gave you said opinion and walk away, and you're carrying it around like, oh, I should really take this in value. If it's something that's going to serve, yes. If it's something that you're like, let it go. It's not worth toting it around. Your message from Source is the Pearl, Alchemy, the reward at the end, from grit to grace. This is just reminding you that it's the hard work, persistence, and a lot of the times stuff done behind the scenes that create the greatest rewards. And a lot of the work that is, when I say being behind the scenes, these are your prayers, these are your meditations, the affirmations, the connecting into God's source divine energy, implanting your goals, dreams, desires into the vortex, into the ether, into the energetic fabric of the universe, allowing it to be brought forward. The pearl is the result of all of the background work. A pearl's not made in the open. A pearl is not made out in public. An oyster does not proclaim loudly, I am building said pearl. This is going to be the greatest pearl of all time. It's done quietly, it's done automatically, and it's done behind the scenes. And that's what God Source Divine wants you to understand, is your success to others may not seem like success. But they don't know what you've been going through. They don't know what's been going on behind the scenes. They don't know how much courage it's taken you to make those changes, to make those steps. And that's the pearl of wisdom. That's the pearl of great value. That is the purpose of our journey on this planet, is to grow in that way. And the beauty of it is the results radiate out for others to see, learn, and grow from, but you didn't have to be loud and boisterous about it. So your lesson or challenge from the tarot is the Queen of Water. This is your divine feminine guidance, water energy. This is really focusing on you. It is the tender-hearted, empathic, patient, loving, relationships developing to a new level, trusting intuition, caring for yourself and others. Even though you're pushing forward, you've got a lot of things that you're working on, you're building, and there are times when you're doing affirmations, when you're doing the meditations, and you're doing all of the inner work, it kind of consumes you. And when that happens, sometimes we forget that we have connections in the physical world as well. This week especially is saying, make sure that your connection to God's Source Divine is strong. Make sure that you are walking with integrity, with growth, with spirituality as a focus. But don't forget, you have a physical support team as well, and making the connections with them is actually going to work out as a benefit for you in the long run, because you will inspire them, they can inspire you, and you will grow in grace and beauty together. So let's look at your third week's guide or guardian. We have the Ascended Master Saint Germain and Amethyst. Amethyst is a very potent stone in association with water, so this is definitely a good message for you. Spiritual connection. My spiritual connection to the universe is empowered and enhanced by acts of prayer and my devotion to greater loves. The love my higher guidance has for me helps me step into my power and live my soul's calling. I am divinely supported, encouraged, seen, heard, and responded to with generosity at all times. I unconditionally rely upon divine grace to make my way safely, creatively, kindly, and effectively along my life path. Spirit is always with me. Amethyst is an exceptionally powerful spiritual stone, and it works on the frequency of water, interestingly enough. And you also have Saint Germain, who was a powerful, powerful spiritual alchemist from back in the day. Lore holds that he could heal with a touch. He could fix fractured gemstones. He can actually take small chips and make them into a whole stone by holding them in one hand. He wielded the violet flame when he was on the earth. Even today, there are references, because I poked around a little bit, to him still roaming around on this physical plane. He pops in and out because he's an immortal at this point. And when you look at what his history is, the lore about it specifically, you see that there's this powerful change and transformation. And through this month for water, walking with integrity, reconnecting with spirit, these are the ways that you start to bring the miraculous into the mundane. These are the ways that you start to create those magical life experiences. You transmute the negative, the dross, the lead into the positive, the gold, the uplifting, the healing. And that's what your mission is in this coming month. And I don't say mission as in this is a divinely inspired, written in stone mission. This is what's being brought forward as things to be aware of in this coming month. So your message from source is stagnant waters, feeling stuck, a call for shifts, flow, and change. There are times when you're in a spiritual journey, and I can speak from experience on this one, where you're going to hit a wall. Your meditations are nothing. Your brain won't shut up. Your rituals, your affirmations feel dead in the water. You don't feel like you're connected any longer to God, Source, Divine. You are. Don't get me wrong. You 100% are, but you don't feel anything anymore. That's when the stagnancy hits. That's when you need the shakeup. That's when things tend to give you a little side shoulder jar to get you snapped back out of it. Sometimes it's depression. Seasonally, this can happen. Other times you just have reached a point where you need to integrate what you've already learned, so you are stopped from progressing forward. When you have Saint Germain and Amethyst coming in saying, be gentle with yourself, you're still growing even if it doesn't feel like it. You're still heading towards your goals even if you feel like you're standing in stagnant water. These are the times when it's good to take that step back and take a breath. The Queen of Water is calling you to remember your physical community as well, and that's what the stagnant waters are saying. Going forward, you can rush and rush and rush, but you're not making any traction. You're not going anywhere. You're literally just treading water. That's not helpful. You're just muddying the water, basically. That's when the stillness, that's when finding that peaceful center stage allows you to see where you're actually at and how far you've come, as well as how far you have to go. And that's where, when you tap in with the Queen of Water, connecting back into your physical inner circle allows you to get that feedback of, oh, I didn't realize. Because they'll be like, dude, you've changed so much in the last month, 6 months, 2 years, 5 years, and it's cool, but what are you doing? And you on the inside are like, I haven't done anything, I haven't changed at all. Well, that's because it's been a slow, subtle change. Normally you don't see the tide shifting unless there's a tidal wave coming in. So it's the little things that are shifting, changing, and growing, and that's the part that the stagnant water, you're not actually stagnant, you may just be in a period of quiet reflection and a quiet level of healing and forgiveness, kind of a self-care thing that's being forced upon you. So your lesson or challenge from the tarot is the Empress with Archangel Gabriel. Lavish abundance, giving birth to your dreams, nurture yourself and others. The divine feminine is very strongly coming forward. The Queen of Water last week, and then this week with the Empress with Archangel Gabriel, we're still looking at the West. We're looking at water. We're tapping into our emotions and emotional healing. The Empress is the divine goddess energy, and so you're getting a lot of that coming in. What she's saying is you have all the abundance in the world available to you. The thing that's slowing you down is the thoughts, the patterns, the habits, and in some cases the soul contracts that have already been put in place that are saying you have certain lessons that when you came in you agreed to move forward, and that's where you're at, is you're coming up against some of those lessons this third week. That doesn't mean good, bad, and different. It just means that there's things that have to be worked through before the next steps can be brought forward, because these were last week's next steps type of a thing. So don't feel disheartened because you have the support of the divine feminine very powerfully stepping forward in this month. So we now are over to our fourth week with the goddess Tara and Tibetan quartz, her eyes ever open. I acknowledge that my inner light is growing stronger, shining brighter, and becoming more visible. I relax in the understanding that the brighter the light, the more powerful the spiritual protection I generate for myself and all other beings. Just so you're aware, the brighter the light, the deeper the shadow. I shine fearless and true with respect respectful boundaries with respectful boundaries that honor the need for all beings to choose their path, I attract and emanate a high level of spiritual guidance, wisdom, and protection for all. That's not, when I said it was not to be negative. You do grow massively, and they're showing me, for water especially, this month is going to be a very transformative month for you, where a lot of ahas, a lot of those little miraculous occurrences, other people are not going to notice so much, but you will. Those are coming forward. But when that light really shines bright, you'll notice the uncomfortable shadow feeling. Process it out, go through the forgiveness, because that shadow is the stagnant water from the last week. So you've got that energy of, you're moving forward, the light's coming in brighter, and now you're getting that shining light on you as well, and it may be showing you things that you're like, ooh, I thought I repressed that. Repression never works. So sort it out, figure it out, clear it out. Then the shadow no longer is your enemy, it becomes a new form of support. The shadow has never been the enemy, just like the ego is not the enemy. They are two aspects of who you are that need to be integrated. Their over-domineering power needs to be stripped, because they don't need that. But once you take away the power from the shadow, you discover the diamond there. Once you take away the power from the ego, you discover it's a great tool for life. It doesn't mean you have to have it all the time. You put it away and bring it out when you need it. The shadow holds all of your diamonds. It holds all of your secrets. The things that you repressed because someone told you they were bad, or you thought they were bad, sometimes you need to pull them out. And when you do, you realize that that pressure that they've been under have turned that coal into diamonds. So your message from Source is the ripple effect. Part of something bigger details are taken care of. This is reminding you of the rest of this. You are creating the change in your life, but the ripple effect is moving outwards in all directions. As you grow, as you change, as you achieve the next level of spiritual growth, physical growth, financial growth, people around you are going to be affected by that. You do not exist in a vacuum, which is a good and bad thing. But when you become aware and you start to consciously, creatively design your life, you take the power away from other people to do that to you, but you also start to build positive momentum, and that ripples out. So the people who want to grow, change, and achieve their dreams are going to be drawn closer, where the people who are like, ew, no, they're going to float away, and that's fine. So it's not a matter of, well, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. You're not. You're changing because it's necessary. They're floating away because they don't want to be changing with you. It's all that is. There's no hurting feelings there. Your lesson or challenge, okay, from the tarot. Water, this is going to be a very big month as far as life lessons and big changes going on. We have number 18 in the major arcana. It is the moon with Archangel Haniel. Important psychic insights, events behind the scenes, releasing fears that are holding you back. The moon reveals secrets. The moon inspires intuition. This is what is being called forward in this fourth week for you to work through. It's not, well, if I get mine, then they can't have theirs. That doesn't make any sense. We live in an abundant universe. Just may not always see that way. So the moon is actually coming in to say, you need to work on your stuff. As long as you're walking with integrity and honesty, it doesn't really matter what the other person thinks. Because if you walk with integrity and honesty, if they get offended, that's on them. That is their problem. That is their issue to work through. That is their nightmare. Don't claim that. There's no reason for that. And it's also saying, releasing the things that are holding you back. That's that personal forgiveness. That's releasing the baggage. We all carry baggage around. No one is above it. I'm not above it. You're not above it. No one in your family or your circle is. We have to learn how to deal with that baggage and let it go. I know it's a Christian book, but it's really a good story, is Pilgrim's Progress, because in the beginning, he's toting around massive baggage. But once he learns that that baggage is no longer necessary, he can let it go. And that's what the moon is coming in to say with Archangel Haniel. And Haniel, or Aniel, depending on how you say it, is such a gentle, powerful healing angel. So you're working with not bombastic energy to clear this out. It's more of just that subtle like just taking a deep breath and letting it go type thing. So that's the message coming through for there. Your 5th week's guide or guardian is the Ascended Master Lady Nada and Rhodochrosite. And we have sensitivity. My devoted heart is a willing, conscious, clear channel for spiritual grace. My growing sensitivity empowers me to experience the loving presence of the divine, to become a light, living with tremendous compassion. My sensitivity increases in perfect harmony with my ability to process subtle energies and generate protective fields of spiritual light around myself and others. I claim the space that I need to protect my experiences and thrive. I trust what I sense and respond with wisdom. It is safe and wild and startling and beautiful to be a sensitive soul with a higher awareness and ambition. So for this 5th week, you're working with Lady Nada and Rhodochrosite. This is heart chakra energy. It's also working with balance, it's working with growth, and it's kind of the culmination of what you've been doing this entire month, which is doing the inner work, clearing out the stuff that's not working for you, working through the forgiveness, getting into that successful mindset. And that success is going to look different for each and every person around, watching the video, not watching the video. It's all going to be their own thing. This last week generally is the culmination of the whole month, so pay attention to the synchronicities. Look back over the month. If you journal away. Flip back through your journal and look at the miraculous things, no matter how small they are, that have happened in this month, because the ending of this month is saying you've done a lot of work, you're doing the right things, you're moving in the right direction. Pay attention to that and don't be hard on yourself because goals super big, me super tiny. So what? Look at what you've accomplished already. That's way more. You're way further ahead than you were at the beginning of the month, and that's what they're wanting to emphasize. Your message from Source is metamorphosis, embracing transformation. Things are now different. As I said before, if you look back over the month, especially if you've been journaling or keeping notes on it, you will see that things have changed a great deal for you personally. The outside world may not even notice these changes, and that's fine. But you have, because this month is a metamorphosis month for you. It is a time of transition, change, and I say growth a lot, but in this aspect, this month, they're showing me that this is going to be internally a very powerful shift for the better for you. The trick is you have to claim it, and that's the one thing that they're saying. That's where working with meditation, working with your physical support team as well as your spiritual support team is going to be super beneficial for you this month. Your lesson or challenge from the tarot, you have all but one of your lesson or challenges are major arcana. The only one is the Queen of Water, which is the queen of the water element. And we have number 15, the ego, Archangel Jophiel, a false sense of entrapment, being overly focused on material things, negative or fear-based thoughts. Through this month, there is always that feeling of the ego getting in the way of, oh, I don't deserve this because. That's a fear-based thought. Don't go there. This card is really calling you forward, and Archangel Jophiel is here to support you in releasing what does not serve. Release that guilt, release that shame. Why would you not be the one that deserves when other people have it? That's irrelevant. But don't be overly focused on just the material, because the material is the reflection of the internal. So when you're working with the internal, you're building up and you're improving, you're healing, you're sorting things out. It's amazing how your outside world literally will shift to match your inner world. And if you don't believe me, clean your house. Clean one bedroom, clean one closet, clean the entire thing, top to bottom, dust, vacuum, sweep, change the linens, and tell me how you feel different. Because when you change the outside, it changes the inside. So organizing, cleaning, sorting throughout this month, spring cleaning month, so why not, right? But don't let the ego get in the way of, oh, you're just not good enough. Why are you even trying this? This is so ridiculous. Take your ego, put it over in the corner, give it a couple of blocks, tell it to go play. Leave you alone. Take some time to get to a point where you can separate your ego out like that, because you do need the ego for certain things. It is a defense mechanism in most cases, but you can also learn to call it forward when you're in those situations where you're just not quite sure how to act. The ego is the best drama queen on the planet. They always know how to act. But you don't have to have that being the dominant force in your life, and that's what this month is being called for. The last week is make sure that you've done things with integrity. The ego doesn't like integrity. So as long as you're working with integrity, with honesty and transformation, the ego doesn't have a choice. It has to go play somewhere else. So hopefully these messages resonate for you guys and gals out there. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, drop a like on the video if you enjoyed this content, and let me know in the comments down below your thoughts, feelings, suggestions, or just in general, if there's anything I can do better. So I will talk to you guys later. Have a great rest of your week and enjoy this coming month.